What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I hope you're all doing great. Today on the workbench, we got my two-wheel drive Rustler by Traxxas. So I'm just going to tell you about the car, tell you everything I like about it, tell you everything I don't like about it, and the path I went and how I got to where it's at now. So first, we're going to start off. I had a homeboy who when I first got my Traxxas T-Max, when I built that up, he went and bought him a two-wheel drive Rustler. He bought him a Rustler, and man, that thing was fast, man. I was like, yo, that thing is crazy. We out there driving, we go to the ballpark, and he would run laps around my T-Max. I loved my T-Max though, man. It was something that I built, so I felt good about it, man, especially for it being a hobby grade car. It was something that was mind blowing for me. Even though he would run laps around me and he would jump all the jumps and backflips and all of that, I wasn't doing none of that with my baby. But I was like, yeah, whatever, yo. I built this one. You bought that one. So I said, you know what? Let me go get me a Rustler. So let me build me a Rustler. And here we go. I built me a Rustler. And in mine, I wanted to build my Rustler faster and better than his. So this is what I did. At first, I went with the bash route. I had the big tires on there. I had the regular wheelie bar back there. A Traxxas wheelie bar, I would just adjust it or take it off when I wanted to do flips and stuff like that. And everything was cool, but I started shredding a lot of gears. I started shredding a lot of gears in that transmission, driving the way I wanted to drive, going crazy. And I'm explaining to you why. Those gears in that transmission is 48 pitch gears. They're really fine teeth. For those of you who don't really know, I'm explaining to you right now. I got a little example right here. So these right here are 48 pitch gears. You see how fine and small those teeth are? See it say 48 pitch on there? Those are the 48 pitch gears. These are the 32 pitch, a little bit bigger, or you could call them mod 0.8. Almost the same thing as 32 pitch. Not exactly the same, but 32 pitches, they do line up with it. So a lot of people use the 32 pitch to line up with the mod 0.08. And then you have mod 1. Mod 1 is what the bigger trucks use, the Max, the X-Max, stuff like that. And then you have mod 1.5. Look how big those gears are compared to the 48 pitch, the mod 1's 32 pitch. See that? So this truck, the Rustler, uses the 48 pitch. So I was shredding a lot of gears in there, and it started getting aggravating, especially with the bashing I was doing. I started getting aggravated with it. So I decided to go to a speed route with it, because I figured just going fast wouldn't hurt the gears, and I was right. But it's just so fast, man. It's just so fast. I'll be able to get some speed tests for you guys. I'll post those videos up later. But first, we're going to go, I switched to the foam tires. Foam tires made by Jayco. I got a different offset in the rear than in the front, as you can see. So the rear actually sticks out a little bit more than the front, just a little bit more. I purchased a black body on Amazon. It was already black. It came with the window stickers. I put my own little stickers on there, the K&N stickers and stuff like that, just to add my own little touch to it. I have a hole in the front for air to let some air flow get through there to keep the ESC cool. This thing wasn't intentional. This thing just came off after a while, after wheeling. Before I built this car to be the speed car that it is now, it would wheelie so crazy and ride upside down that it just ripped the whole top off. Another reason why I purchased the skid plate for the top, that is for a four-wheel drive Rustler. I purchased that, and it has 4 mounting spots in the bottom on the other side. So once you mount it down, you will be able to put some screws up in there to hold it down. And what I did was I got me some double-sided tape, and I put it down. I laid it under there too, on the bottom of the skid plate, as well as the screws. That way it lays flush on the car, because a lot of times if you just put the screws in, it will have a bubble all over here, and it will have a bubble right here. So I didn't like it. I mean, so I just did the double-sided tape so it sit flush along the body like that. I think it looks better, and I figured when it rides upside down, it won't catch it and probably try to rip the thing off. It'll just ride right. So yeah, that's the reason why I did that. When I purchased this body, it didn't have a spoiler. It didn't come with a spoiler, but on the body itself, it had three. I'm sorry, it had 3 divots on the back where you can mount your own spoiler, and it will line up perfectly if you was to purchase a spoiler or if you was to build one of your own. I decided to build one of my own. I work at the body shop at a dealership, and I came across a heat shield. It comes on a real cars. Under the car, it be around the muffler and stuff like that, to keep the heat from inside the cabin or around wires and stuff. And it's a real hard aluminum. And I was able to cut me a perfect little square of it, and I wrapped it up in some black electrical tape so it matched the body. And then I ran me a piece of red electrical tape around it. But because before I had this willy bar, it would willy and it would scrape all back here, and it ripped the tape off and all of the extra stuff. But it really doesn't bother me too bad. If I want to replace it, I will, but I'm not, because it works. It still works. It doesn't have any holes or anything like that. So it works just fine. The RPM front bumper, this thing saved me a lot, because like I said, this thing is so fast. I'll post some videos on the speed, but this thing is so fast. At first, I had the willy bar flip around, and I'll show you. If you see, it has the 2 mounting locations, but you actually can flip this willy bar around. If you see it's on an angle, if you turn it the other way, if you flip it, the willy bar will face up, and it works like a spring. You can see it's kind of facing up a little bit now, but not too bad. Not like it was before if you was to turn it the other way around. And it works like a spring. So when you have the front impacts and you hit something, it kind of just bounce right off. That was a good thing back when you bashing. Now, if you want to get some speed, that's a bad thing, because the wind will grab that thing, because it's already facing up. So it doesn't take much for the wind to get right under there and help throw the car right upside down, especially if you don't have any weight up there. I do have headlights. I have the headlights. I have the tail lights. So at night, this thing definitely is glowing. I use the washers on the body to spread the load out. I explained that with the T-Max video. Just because if you don't, you can use the plastic ones, or I like to use the metal ones. If you don't, depends. When you bashing it, the body will rip right through the pin, and then after it's just a big hole right here, you don't have no way to hold your body in. So the washers help against that if you having that problem. That one, there we go. So yeah, let's get under the hood. I'll show you what I got going on under here. Under the body, I reinforced it with some Gorilla tape to try to strengthen it up. These aftermarket bodies, I said before, I purchased this body offline. It's not an original Traxxas body. These bodies online tend to be pretty brittle. So I just lined it up with the Gorilla tape to try to give it some more strength, and it did work, and it gave it some weight. The lights, I ran the lights, I drilled my holes through, and I ran the lights, the wires coming through. I ran it around, and I put it in the middle, and the same with the tail lights. I connected them back here, and then I ran around the outsides, and I came in the middle. And what I did was I twirled it up. It came with a lot of extra wire, which was a good thing. I twirled it up, and then I came out just a little bit, and I got it right here. And what I do is when I want to connect my lights, I have a wire coming out of the receiver box, and I can hook the lights up whenever I want to, or I can just decide to not have my lights, and I just tuck that to the side. So that's a good thing. The spoiler, I was able to mount the spoiler with 3 bolts, 3 washers, And then I got 3 nuts and 3 washers on that side. So that spoiler isn't going anywhere. Got that up there pretty good. So in the front, I have the aluminum tie bar. I have a RPM bulkhead. When I was building this car to do the speed builds, I didn't want to get rid of the RPM bumper, but if I had to, I would have. I looked online and I came across some weighted front bumpers. So I was like, oh, let me give that a try. But I was like, man, I would love to have the RPM front bumper, because if I'm flying down the road, I would like to have that RPM bumper to have some flex up there. So I was like, you know what, whatever. I'll give the weighted bumper a shot, and I ordered the weighted front bumper. But this is what came in the mail. This weighted thing right here, this plate. And you can see how thick it is. I don't know what kind of material it is, but I could tell you it's not plastic. It's like a cement. It's like a concrete or something. It's like I don't know what it is, but it's really heavy. It's I believe it's 50 grams. I believe it's 50 grams. So it definitely added some weight to the front of this car. It's pretty hard to kind of lift the front up. When I drive it, it doesn't wheelie. It just stays planted. The bad thing is I gotta warm up the tires when I get some runs going in when I'm running, because now that it stays straight and it doesn't wheelie, it like the slot if these tires aren't warmed up, because when they're cold, they're not sticky at all. So yeah, I have the aluminum big bore shocks all the way around. I did drop them. I got some spacers. It's a lot of people online to show you how to do it, to tell you how to do it. But pretty much you just get you some fuel from a nitro truck. You can go to the hobby store and get it. Some fuel tubing, the fuel line tubing, and you could put that around the shock shaft, and you cut them all the same length, or whatever length you need to lower your shock, and you put that on the shock. You have to take the shock apart, you put it on there and put it back together, and then lower it. Or you can use heat shrink tube, and I've seen people use that. It's a lot of different things you can use to create some type of spacers. All you really want is some type of spacer in there that will eliminate how much the shock comes out and goes in, and that would just drop it for you. So that's what I did all the way around. It gave me some nice ground clearance. It's not too low, so it's not scratching the ground. So it's just right. It's not too high. Yeah. So we got that going on. RPM front 8 arms. And I did go with the water selection. So they originally this car, the front 8 arms are slimmer, narrower than the rears. So I purchased the arms, the RPM arms that's wider, so the front and the rear sit at the same width. But then at the same time, I purchased the foam Jaycos with the offset, so they sit a little wider. So that's why I still sit a little wider in the rear. But she sits pretty wide. It looks good out there. She's pretty stable. You'll get to see that. I dyed the chassis black, as you can see. I like to dye my chassis black. Any of my builds, I like to dye them black if I'm building it from the ground up. It just gives it my own special touch. I just like to do it so if I'm matching my colors, whether if I want to go with an all orange and black build, or all red and black, or blue and black, or blue and green, or whatever color I want to go with, at least if all my plastic parts is black, I'll be able to get the color scheme that I want going on and don't have a bunch of different colors jumping out at you. So that's the reason why I do that. And I just like it. It just looks a little cleaner like that. So moving on to the electronics, I have a Arma BLX 100 ESC. It is 3S capable. The reason why I like the Arma ESCs and the Spectrum ESCs, you'll notice that I use those a lot. Some Hobby Wing ESCs too. is because I think they pretty much are Hobby Wing ESCs, because let me show you. I use my Hobby Wing program card to program these things. Let me see if I can get you a close up on the and that's the model number. You can see the model number right there. But that's I use these program cards on most of my ESCs. So when you program them, what I mean by programming, when you program your ESC, if you notice right there, it says run mode, forward only with brake, forward reverse with brake, or forward and reverse. And then number 2, the drag brake. Number 3, the cutoff threshold. So different things you can tune. So that would, the cutoff threshold would be where you turn, where the ESC would notice where your LiPo battery is starting to get at a certain voltage, and it will cut off, so it'll save your battery. Run mode is just, you know, if you whatever, if you want to go forward only with brake, or you don't want to have brake or stuff like that. Sometimes when you professional racing, they don't have reverse. So yeah, so if you want to do that, start mode, the punch mode down there at number 4, that will be your acceleration, and that goes from all the way from level 1 to level 9. So it's a lot of things you could tune. But when you use, I'm gonna tell you now, you can use this programmer. Now what you do is you plug it up in there. You got the signal, the positive and the negative. And in these ESCs, you don't even have to go to the receiver box. You don't have to use the wire that goes to the receiver box. This wire plugs to the fan. You unplug the fan. And see, the fan wire only uses negative and positive. But if you look on there, it's 3 pins. And it tells you signal wire, positive and a negative. And you hook this one up. Signal wire, positive and a negative. And bam, you could program your ESC. Now the trick is, you can't use this program chart unless you're using a Hobby Wing ESC. What you want to do is, you want to use this to use the buttons to program it, but you want to get your programming chart from the box that you purchased your ESC from, the box from the car, or you can just either go on, you can go online. You can easily Google your ESC. Like I would just type in BLX 100 program chart, and it will come up, and it will go from 1 through, I think it's 5 program settings on these. And I can just go through 1 through 5 with the buttons and just program it like that, and just push OK and just pull it out, and it's done. So that's another reason why I like these ESCs, because they're fully programmable. Yeah, I have a Dumble RC receiver and transmitter in this thing. This one has the gyro, so I just got it down right now, but it does have the gyro, so it can keep me straight when I need the help. I have this little Velcro slot right here for my speed GPS. That's the reason why the ESC is over here. I could easily put the GPS up here, and I could look at it through the top in the hole if I need to, and do some adjustments. But I have a newer one that I could track on my phone. But yeah, so I have the original shock tower. I don't see the need to upgrade shock towers and body mounts, because the ground just eat that little post up, no matter if it's aluminum or RPM or whatever brand it is. The ground gonna eat that thing up when you slide upside down, unless you not planning on going upside down or anything. You just building something just to go fast, or, you know, a shelf queen. Yeah, if not, then just stick with the original stock ones. That way you can just go purchase some more, $6, $7, and just slap them right on. Same shocks back here, aluminum. I dropped them a little bit, so give me a little better ground clearance. Let me see. Back here I have the RPM arms in the rear. I have the camber links RPM in the rear too. The reason why I went with the 4 camber links all the way around is because I just felt like it was better and less maintenance with the adjusting everything and making sure those things don't break and stuff like that, man. And the RPM ones is pretty strong, and I like the angle it leaves me on anyway. I think it looks pretty good. The motor, I have a Queen Hobbies 3665 3800 kV motor up there. So this thing flies. I have the RPM motor cover, RPM wheelie bar mount back here with the hot racing wheelie bar. Yeah, this motor flies. I have it on a 26 tooth pinion gear, 32 pitch on the outside. So that's a 50 tooth on the spur gear down there. But yeah, I did the upgrade with the 32 pitch on the outside gears just to give it a little bit more strength. Like I said earlier, everything is 48 pitch all the way across. 48 pitch right there. You got the mod 1, mod 1.5. But yeah, all of the gears in this truck is 48 pitch. So I was able to upgrade to the 32 pitch on the outside. There's a lot of guys online that's showing you how to do that, and you could do that to give it a little bit more strength. And it's easier to line up that mesh right there when you're dealing with the 32 pitch. So when you do that, you're just kind of going to have to get your speeds on your own, mess with it a little bit, you know, mess with your gearing ratios and stuff a little bit to get your speeds, because when you switch to that, you no longer can go online and get any gearing ratios because they don't use, Traxxas doesn't use 32 pitch with the two-wheel drive Rustler. I do know Proline uses 32 pitch on their whole gearbox. If you upgrade to their gearbox, it has the 32 pitch, and I guess you can go by their gear setup too. So let's get to back here. Back here, I have the RPM gearbox. On that top shaft, I have the Traxxas upgraded hardened steel up there, the shaft, and it's the one that got the gear that's slotted on. It's like keyed on the shaft. It has a certain pattern and it's keyed on there, versus the one that's got the pin. I have the one that's keyed on, the upgraded one. The idler gear is the hot racing hardened steel idler gear, and then the differential down in there is the hot racing differential, the hardened steel differential, and it has the original Traxxas planetary gears on the inside. So pretty much everything inside the gearbox is upgraded. And I do run the slipper eliminator. I don't run a slipper on pretty much any of my vehicles. I feel the slipper is just, sometimes it could be a pain, man. That thing, I melted a lot of them. I had the carbon fiber ones, I had the aluminum ones, and sometimes I just end up, it got to the point where I have it just super tight, so I wouldn't have any problems with it. And I'm like, if I'm gonna run my slipper clutch super tight, why not just eliminate the slipper clutch all the way? And that's what I did. I eliminated the slipper clutch, and I haven't been having any problems. As long as you good on your throttle, and when you flip upside down and stuff like that, don't be on power when you land. And it's just a lot of things. Once you start driving these things, you learn the ins and outs, and you learn what to do and what not to do. And once you start doing that, then you can start upgrading to getting the slipper eliminator. So yeah, that's that. I gotta run this thing. I gotta show y'all how it run. I do have, because this ESC has has the power plug for EC5, and my battery, my Traxxas battery, I have the adapter here that I purchased on Amazon. But the adapter here goes to EC5 and it goes to Traxxas, so I can easily run my Traxxas batteries in there just like that. That's the antenna. My wires for the ESC, the power wire, I have it ran down there, and as you can see, it comes through that little thing over there, through that little compartment where the servo, that's where the steering servo is, down in there, but it doesn't interfere with it at all. Because actually they have it factory where the real servo wire comes down there. You can see it's 2 wires. So all I did was run my wire right next to the original wire, comes out, and then I have another adapter, just like I have for my lights, going right into the receiver. And that's how I was able to run that. But yeah, that's my 2-wheel drive Rustler, guys. Hope you like what you see. If you like, smash that like button. If you have any questions, any suggestions, feel free to comment and subscribe. Thanks for watching.